Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of the Vampire Diaries on the CW. This week we've seen Season 8, Episode 10, which is called Nostalgia's a Bitch. And I will be doing a video later talking about a recent announcement from a very prominent cast member, but we'll talk about that a little bit later when I get home from work. Apologize for lateness of this review, but I worked after 8 last night, so I had to watch it on demand the next day. Just got done watching it. And overall, the season just continues to get better and better. You know, these past couple episodes I think have been my favorites of the season so far. And this one could very well be my overall favorite of the season so far because we got a lot of Damon feels in this episode. I'm glad he's kind of being reverted back to normal. You know, like for a while at the beginning of the season I was worried that they were going to keep him as Cade's drone until Elena hopefully returns in the finale. But it's glad to see Damon's came back around before then, so we can get our regular Damon back for the majority of the rest of the series anyway. In this episode, it had a lot going for it. It had an interesting sort of perspective or basis. With Damon's switch being flipped back on and Sybil basically putting him in that state of that catatonic state basically. So he had Caroline and Bonnie going around in his mind trying to reach out to him because, again, he was just like feeling all this immense guilt and pain and suffering. And when they first initially look into his mind, it's like the equivalent to him, being burned, continuously. So you can just see how much weight he still carries with him about everything, even from seasons past and things like that. So this is a really good, Damon episode. But also had some good tiebacks to previous stuff with other characters too. This video is going to be too long, probably only a few more minutes or so, but some pretty good acting in this episode. Went into it for sure. I also like seeing Bonnie running through the woods and such at the beginning. And of course, Stefan shows up, still under Cade's control or under, with his humanity flipped off. And at first he's like, oh, I'm here to convince you to still marry me. Nah. Dick Stefan can be kind of funny sometimes. And then Matt and his father are also put in a pretty bad position because, we find out this bell can actually kill the sirens, but it would actually destroy anything from miles out as well. So Matt ends up being compelled to ring the spell 12 times, and his dad would have to put him down to stop him, or Matt would have to forgive Damon for killing Vicky all the way back in season 1. So that set things up nicely for sure. And of course, Stefan, this Stefan, he just wants Damon to snap out of it, to keep earning his keep, to keep building up the souls with him, because just Stefan doing it on his own isn't enough. And as we see Bonnie and Caroline rooting around in Damon's mind, at first it seems pretty normal, but then we see in this reality, we see that Vicky's still around. We also see, of course, Lizzie, Sheriff Forbes, of course. So that was good. I was wondering, because before the season started, we were told that we are going to see quite a few familiar faces this season. I was wondering how they're going to do that. Because they've had scenarios where, figures in the past returned, temporarily, Ghost or, I forget what it's called exactly, but when we got to see, Anna again and stuff like that, seasons ago. But you can't just pull that all the time, so it kind of made sense that we'd see him either in flashbacks or in, a scenario like this. It made sense. It was kind of interesting seeing Vicky again, because we haven't seen her for even longer. At least as much as Mrs. Forbes. So we got that, and it was also interesting because Caroline, of course, wants to talk to her mother, and she ends up getting captured when she's discovered to be a vampire, and her mother keeps burning her over and over with that sunroom. And Caroline admits that she stopped actually hating Damon when he showed how much he cared for her mother and, different things that went into that and such. So it was good that in this episode we got both Caroline and Matt actually finally admitting others good with Damon. It sort of happened with Caroline last week with her trying to reach out to the better part of him that Elena had been with. But it's good to see them both recognizing that there can be good in Damon. Because I think they've just gone like way overboard with their Damon hate over the years. I could definitely word it better than that, but I've always been kind of annoyed with Caroline and Matt, just like ignoring like any good Elena had seen in him and just like remembering everything else. So I like that. And then what happened with Bonnie and Damon was definitely the most touching part of the episode, though. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. We also had, of course, Stefan. He was rooting around, and we get him and Damon have a moment in Damon's mind. At first, we think it's, Stefan's supposed to forgive Damon for something, but it turns out to be tied back to, Damon forgiving Stefan, for turning him into a vampire initially and making him this thing that, caused him to do all this terrible, stuff. And again, I'm probably not really wording it the right way. But, I thought that was pretty good as well, which is why I used it for the custom thumbnail. And when Damon finally does snap out of it, he does come out of it. He's able to stop Matt from ringing the bell 12 times. He stops him just at 11. It looked like Matt's dad was actually about to snap his neck or something, so it would have been interesting. Wouldn't have minded Matt dying, honestly, but we actually get a different type of scene with Matt and Damon. Damon apologizing to Matt about Vicky. He should have said it a while ago. And Matt's still not really willing to let it go, but he said basically it's a start. And he saved his father and the whole town tonight, so if he keeps that up, he's open to anything. So it was nice to see Matt actually acknowledge that Damon is capable of good. But like I said, definitely the best part of it was Damon and Bonnie, because of course Bonnie bringing up the letter that Damon had left her before he was putting himself into before he put himself into sleep waiting for Elena. So you actually see Damon read her the letter aloud and saying how she's an amazing woman and how he's so afraid of failing both her and Elena. And various other things I would probably butcher if I tried to repeat. But, pretty good acting for me in Somerhalder and, Cat Graham here. And so I like that they finally made amends. It was pretty well acted, so I enjoyed that. And we see Cade, he would have liked 12 tolls, to mess with the entire town, but 11 still caused him to appear. And, of course, Sybil and, Celine are scrambling to make other plans with him, but he just burns them both. So Sybil and Celine, I think, are both permanently gone. I don't see how they can just be brought back again, but we'll see. So, yeah, overall, this is a pretty good episode. I'd rate it like an 8.8, maybe 8.9 out of 10. So it's been a fairly good season so far. I'm definitely excited for the finale, but hopefully we get more episodes like this until then. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about it. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys a little bit later tonight talking about something else on the Vampire Diaries. So I'll see you for that. Alright, peace.